So, in higher practices and understanding, we have been uh, answering the questions which are extremely relevant and important to go into the higher meditation. What is knowledge of the real self? What exactly is the dispassion? What is illusion and delusion? What is that emotional freedom? We have been talking about emotional dependence. And what is the difference between the individual and the supreme consciousness? How we can relate it and how we can remove the sorrow and the suffering. So, in that context, we have started understanding the poor mind. Look into a different context that body is not a journey of life, it is an instrument. So, after reaching at a physical maturity, maybe around 25 or 30, this body follows its own journey. But you have acquired a habit of eating too much of sugar, so body says pass on to the pancreas, then into the liver. No worries, you continue doing what you want to do. The body follows its own journey. One example I gave you. So, this body, after the physical maturity, one day it has come to an end. The mind does not believe this. And when the mind does not believe, then it keeps the attachment with the body. And that attachment creates a poor mind leading to delusion. So you see, the poor mind is works with the past impression. Then poor mind says express it with some imaginative happiness, and then it falls into delusion. Poor mind means I have a lot of impression inside. Now you continue eating sugar. The pancreas says that I'm not able to digest now. Let me pass on to gallbladder. Let me pass on to kidneys. We suffer from diabetes. So the impression in the mind with ego creates an imagination that I will be happy outside. I will live my life full of satisfaction. That is purely an imagination with reference to the world outside that creates the delusion. So, that impression, we will talk later in the following sessions. It is known as sanskar and vasanas. So, poor mind is pulled by my past impression. Yesterday impression, you dislike someone, and the mind continues with that thought of him disliking. It has created an impression. Now, ego creates an imagination in favor or against. I hate that guy. I'm not going to talk. Or, okay, I'm sorry, I will go and talk to them. So, that impression through the imagination created by the ego wants an expression is delusion. Boss was upset with the employee and he said, I need to hire someone else. So employee said, thank you, sir. We will distribute our work. In fact, boss wanted to lay him off because he is not performing well. Huh? I need to hire someone else. Employee said, thank you, sir. We will distribute our work. Perfect example of a delusion. That poor mind is instigated with the little things, events, and incidents in our life and continues to live in delusion. Until we remove this delusion, there is no chance of going into the higher meditation. So, when we remind this poor mind that there is only one place for permanent peace, happiness, love, and wisdom, only one place. And what is that? It is our real self. At the same time, poor mind is to be reminded we do not want unhappiness, dissatisfaction, fear, frustration because they are not my real nature. It is always with us. Our search outside due to the poor mind. Our search outside due to the poor mind creates fear, frustration, failure, and fright. So understand purely in a different way, in a practical, pragmatic way. Whenever I have an anxiety, duality, conflict, I feel the sense of fear, sense of dependence. It is the poor mind. One guy in India, when I was teaching, so he was CEO of one big company known as the Birlas, and he says that, I'm always feel tired. He was working almost for 18 to 19 hours. I don't know for what. For peace and happiness. So there is an acronym I found, TAT, tired all the time. TATT. It is the work of the poor mind. It is the work of the poor mind caused by the fear, failure, frustration, and fright. Poor mind gets absorbed in short-term pleasure, claiming this is it. And then poor mind repeats again. It repeats the same pleasure. It loses that pleasure over time. And then we are always tired and sick of using the same thing again and again. There is no other alternative because now I'm addictive. Do you see that? How long we can work, how long we can sleep, how long we can continue eating, how long we can talk, how long we can watch TV, how long you can play with the pets. Add this also. What is the message our master gives? This work gives tiredness, fear, failure, frustration. Office is for fatigue because you return home from work and I don't want to talk to anyone. Any situation you create, it is for failure or success. Once you recognize the poor mind, then wants to become a rich mind. The entire world, we squeeze the entire world by too much of effort. Gives you nothing substantial. In the end, there is always a kind of a guilt. Oh, I have to do that work. No, let me note it down. You note down on a physical notepad or in your phone, or in your computer. You know, we had a there was a guy who said, I normally forget. So what he did, we used to wear unstitched clothes. He said, no, let me put a knot so that I will not forget. He did it in the morning and the evening. In the evening, he saw the knot. He forgot why he had put the knot. We do this. We do this every day. This is the work of the poor mind. This is the work of the poor mind. World gives this time. It doesn't mean that I should not work. I should continue to work. But wait, not by the poor mind. Not by the poor mind. Not by the poor mind. But now question comes, why this happens? Why this happens? It happens due to the 5 gateways of knowledge. Did you recall? 5 gateways of knowledge that opens to the world outside. These are the 5 sense organs supported by the poor mind. Clear? 5 senses are the 5 gateways of knowledge. And these sense organs are one-sided windows. Hold on. Pay attention. Continue to listen what the master says. And you'll be amazed about this master whose keen observation about these 5 sense organs with reference to the animals and with reference to our human beings. He says that these 5 sense organs are very strong as compared to the sense organs of animals. At the same time, at the 3rd level, do you remember person 1 and person 2 creates an ego and the person 3 is a movement of the shares? Do you still remember? No, if you don't remember, you can go to it. It's okay. So now see that what he says. First thing to understand, take your eyes. How long and how much you can see? Ultimate exhaustion. Take your ears. How long you can listen? The sound. Same thing with the how long you can eat. There are more than 1,000 different tasty foods. Even if you take a bite, even that all the 5 sense organs, poor mind tires. Poor mind creates an extreme fatigue to these sense organs. Why? Because of my impression, because the way I think, because of the ego that I have created in the world. You understood that? Now understand the 5 sense organs. This master says he was born almost from here now you can say 1,600 years ago. So he compares, this is what the poor mind does. Poor mind, even if it creates, poor mind creates a delusion. We live in the delusion all the time. That you need to realize. This is what the message is. You know the deer, an animal, the elephant, the moth, the fish and the and kuranga matanga patang meen bhujang bhrang narha panchabhi reva panchitah kim. Ah, what a beautiful verse it is. What it says. We talk of sound pollution, but otherwise the sound creates problem to us supported by the mind behind due to attachment. It is sad that the deer is enticed by the sweet sound of the music of the flute. The hunter plays the flute in the forest. The deer is enticed and killed. Only one sense organ is powerful, right? Touch sensation create problems to us also. Sensuality. A wild elephant is tempted by the touch of the tamed female elephant. Do you know that? The hunter, what they do? They dig a big hole and they put a she elephant there in ancient, even now. And now they torture the she elephant, so she cries, she makes a sound, and the elephant listens to it. It runs, falls into the day. Sound, not touch. Touch in the sound. A moth, we always see, in the rainy season, outside the light. They are attracted by the light and they are killed. Our eyes. Taste. Fish. You put a bait. Fisherman. And the smell, bee. Sometimes what happens that these bees are too much obsessed with the fragrance, they inhale too much and they fall down, died. All the five animals have only one sense organ strong. What about us? We have five sense organs. They are very strong. And the poor mind with its attachment constantly is at work. Even we are listening. Everyone is watching everyone. Everyone is watching everyone, isn't it? No? So you are listening to me, maybe who knows the sight is attracted to someone. Oh, he is good, she is good. The mind is constantly at work. This poor mind, because of we have a five strong sense organs. You are attached with the mom, you look at the mom and the sight, just the sense of the sight. It gives you an emotional dependence. Any one of these five sense organs is sufficient to cause death of these animals, and it is also sufficient for us to die with the suffering. I'm not going anywhere else, you know it. It is because of the poor mind. Master is Shankaracharya. Now he gives a metaphor which needs to be understood with reference to the poor mind. King Cobra's venom is the deadliest poison which can kill a man in few minutes. But it can kill only when we are near to the cobra. There is no danger in just looking at the snake, whereas these sense pleasures is enough to destroy us. They are more dangerous than the cobra. Who knows when we get into that kind of an attachment? I will talk about it. I will talk about it in the following session. The poor mind takes its impression from the past impression accumulated within us. It triggers the outer world, triggers that situation, and the poor mind is at work. We fall into delusion, and the moment we fall into the delusion, poor mind is at work. It constantly gives me suffering. That is why we say, today is a bad morning for me. What harm the sun did to you or the Monday did to you, but the poor mind doesn't listen. We need to contemplate and reflect, think and act with the right knowledge, right thinking, right action. Because of these five sense organs, we are obsessed, supported by the mind, supported by the past impression, supported by the imaginative I. Again, I'm using that. Causes the delusion. We live in a delusion. We have reached to a new normal. What is that new normal? I have to attend to the phone, even if the moment it budge, it is useless, but I have to attend to it. One example. Five gateways with the poor mind destroy the natural ability or perception of the mind. Natural ability. Because we are attached. Because we live in emotional dependence. Mind dictates the intellect. That is why we must listen and we must observe. We must think and act with the right knowledge, right thinking, right action. Should I give you another example? Another master gives another example that what happens with the poor mind. And imagine this in real life situations with reference to eating, with reference to all the five sense organs. And everyone can realize that. We try to overcome by sense desires is like a stupid frog. It doesn't mean that we are stupid frog. I'm just giving an example. Sam, just look at this example. That stupid frog caught in the mouth of a snake, unaware of its fate, stretches its tongue to catch an insect and enjoying eating insect. Did you understand that, Randy? I'm not making you scared, but this is what is happening in our life. Daily, you pick up a thought of sadness, you pick up a thought of anxiety, you pick up a thought of reaction during the day. It is because of this. Did you get it? Frog caught the insect, enjoying, but behind the frog is caught by the snake. And that frog is going inside, but we are enjoying. Can you see these masters? And because I'm not able to fulfill the desires of the poor mind, so I get agitated, I get fatigued, I have a fear, I have a failure, I have a frustration. Fear, failure, frustration, fright. Anxiety, anger, duality, conflict. All together, We are living in delusion. And the poor mind in the delusion causes loss of memory. That destroys the intellect. And if the intellect is destroyed, we are not more than an animal. Examining this week, finding out which sense organ is stronger, you will discover by the repeated thoughts about those pertaining to the sense organs will tell you the story of your poor mind. We all have the same. I have a fascination for new tech, new gadgets. But very well controlled. We should have it, but it should be organized. So I found the Logitech Braille is the best camera. I observed and I bought it. Yes, it is required. So it is required and I bought it. The last is not the least. 99% of my busy mind has these thoughts repeated every day, every hour, every moment. I did not get married. Other thought, second guy, I'm still single. Now I'm frustrated with the marriage. I love my mom and dad too much. They left me. When they left 10 years ago, I'm still crying. These unnecessary, unwanted thought continues to pop up in the mind. No, just after this session, I will go to Pizza. Unnecessary, unwanted. This keeps the poor mind working all the time. With the same sense organ, with the mind, not the poor mind, but with the rich mind, we should create an auspiciousness in our life every day when you wake up in the morning. Are you getting it? It is in our control. I simply have to make a choice. Auspiciousness means progress, happiness now. Thank God, thank existence, I'm alive today. Let me live my life in peace and happiness. You have to only start thinking in this way to change that poor mind. That auspiciousness means joy plus knowledge. Knowledge comes by the right thought, right knowledge, right thinking. It is going to change the poor mind. Let us change it. See, close your eyes.